With that, we welcome you to the Stan Sheriff Center. The Hawaiian Tel FCU starting lineups will be scrolling in that bottom right corner of your screen. The Rainbow Warriors ranked 7th in the preseason ABCA poll. At 1-0 to start the season, and Jennings Franciscovich serves out of bounds to start this match. Hawaii coming off of a win over Erskine College last night, and boy, was it lopsided. 25-11, 17-9. They're officially 1-0 coming in. Princeton, oh, they went the distance with Ball State, and how? 21-19 loss in the 5th set against Ball State. So they're off to an 0-1 start here in 2017. But Stein von Tilburg, an MPSF all-freshman team selection and honorable mention selection last season, able to knock down his first kill of the match, and we're knotted at 1 apiece.
And how he's matured from last year, I think much better in his shot selection this year, and he's hitting the ball a lot harder.
Set outside. That goes to Parker Dixon, and Dixon able to work it through that Hawaii block. What you will notice about this Rainbow Warrior team right off the bat is just how big they are up front.
Patrick Gassman, 6'10". When was the last time Hawaii had a 6'10" middle blocker? I can't remember when.
Back to serve Kendall Ratter. He's a 6'4" junior out of California with the serve for the Princeton Tigers. The pass by Tui Tuileta, one of the new faces for this roster. And right on cue, Patrick Gassman able to find the Terraflex. But Tui Tuileta, the starting libero here for Hawaii. Last played at the Division I college level at USC, of course, out of Punahou, where he won multiple state championships in volleyball, won a state championship as the quarterback in football, brings a ton of success, a ton of leadership to this roster. Good serve by Gassman against a triple block. Greg Luck gets dug up by von Tilburg. Good chase down by the big fella on the second touch. And a freebie here for Princeton. Set goes opposite side, and a big hammer from Parker Dixon misses everything. And it's a point for Hawaii. 3 serving 2 coming up.
Dixon had the whole cross court wide open, just a freshman. He'll learn that when there's only one blocker up like that, it opens up some part of the court, but clearly he did not have to go high hands there. He could have gone cross court very easily.
Here it comes from Gassman again. Set goes middle through the block. A swing by George Human. Little rat-a-tat back and forth at the net. And put down by Stein von Tilburg. You love the way he's moving here in the early portion of this season.
Yeah, he's, his footwork has been better, shot selection better. The rat-a-tat plays like that, the net better. He's just doing everything, in my opinion, the best he's ever done it. He's played a lot of volleyball.
That's true. A lot of international experience. 6'8" sophomore out of the Netherlands. Bump set goes left side, and this is Greg Luck off the block and out. Greg Luck, part of a Fantastic Four freshman recruiting class for Princeton. It was the 7th rated recruiting class according to Volleyball Magazine in the offseason, but Luck a part of it. We've mentioned George Human. Shane Gooding is the starting setter tonight, and Parker Dixon. And they have this Princeton program and head coach Sam Schweisky thinking big things here over there in the Eastern Intercollegiate Volleyball Association, the EIVA.
As well they should. 7th ranked class in the country. I'm not sure Princeton has ever accomplished that.
Not with those academic requirements, right? Von Tilburg with the serve. Here's Luck again. Punches it long. Was there a touch? No touch. And Hawaii has the Tigers doubled up here early on in set number 1. Von Tilburg getting ready to serve. Had 3 kills on 4 swings against Erskine last night. A lot of guys getting some action in the season opener. In fact, all 16 who dressed able to find some form of action on the floor last night. And it's a service ace from Stein von Tilburg, and everything going according to plan so far for Charlie Wade and his bunch. Timeout signaled by the Tigers. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the Kaiser Permanente keys to the match. Chris?
Well, for Princeton, they've got to bring the eye of the tiger, their nickname. They're not very physical, but they're young, passionate, and they play with heart and courage. Down 9-5 versus Ball State in the 5th, and came back to get 5 match points. And for Hawaii, well, it's all about the depth chart. They played 16 guys last night, and every day in the gym is a battle. 3 deep at every position. They could try to make the match last longer tonight because Princeton had a tough one last night. Hawaii barely broke a sweat.
Middle set, this is Junior Obo. Dug up, little joust at the net. Hawaii keeps it alive. Franciskovic, backside set goes to Stein, and he does it again, showing the full array as Hawaii still hitting perfect. 4 kills on 4 swings.
Nice set by Jennings Franciskovic. Put up a perfect one for Stein. A little wide for him. 2 blockers got up on him, but he managed to rattle it through.
It is 8 serving 3 here in the first set for Hawaii. Our television debut, even though this is match number 2 for the Rainbow Warriors. And there's Greg Luck going off the block and out, getting a ton of swings early. He had a team-high 49 attempts last night in the 5-set loss to Ball State. 19 kills to lead the Tigers, so expect us to call his name a considerable amount of times here in this one. This is night 2 of the 23rd Outrigger Volleyball Invitational. Glad you could join us here under the Friday night lights. There's a pass by Austin Matautia, another new face here for Hawaii. And Von Tilburg tools the block, and boy, was he ecstatic about it.
He's shown a lot of emotion. He's worked hard to win that opposite position. He's been in a battle all preseason against the Bulgarian junior national team player and sometimes national team player, Rado Parapunov.
Nicely done. We got some names to deal with this year, my partner. D-set, that goes to Parker Dixon. What a diving save by Tele. Middle set, Obo dug up by Faye. Wow. Tuileta keeping this one going, and it sets up Stein Von Tilburg. Right down Kalakaua. Tui in the house, Chris.
Check out the athleticism. Reaches out, pops it back up, gives Hawaii another chance to score. And this is the end of the play with Stein Von Tilburg burying it. But what a play that was by Tuileta, coached in junior ball by Hawaii's own Ponoma'a and Charlie Jenkins.
Backside set once again. It's Dixon this time working the block to his advantage. But what kind of addition, in your opinion, is Tuileta? Now, there is a little bit of a debate as to what his academic standing is. They're trying to get that checked, but he is currently listed on the roster as a sophomore. There is the possibility that maybe he will be ruled a junior in terms of his eligibility remaining. But what does he bring to the table here?
Oh, he brings so much. Imagine putting a football quarterback on the floor to bring leadership, just that quality alone. When they went out to Camp Erdman and did their team building, you know, he just fit right in. Even though he hadn't been with them in the fall, it was as if he had been with the team forever.
Hendrik Mole pulling off the first holy moly slam down of 2017. It's 11 serving 5, and here is Hendrik Mole, one of the 4 seniors on the roster with the serve, and a little paintbrush action from Parker Dixon into the twine. And Hawaii has it rolling right now in the first, Chris.
Yeah, some domination going on here. I think Princeton obviously feeling the effects of last night's match, which took a lot out of them physically and emotionally.
Princeton making its first ever appearance in the Outrigger Resorts Invitational. As you see Mole go into the net. But the Tigers have some affinity for this building. It was back in 1998 when they played in the NCAA semifinal against Pepperdine, referred to by Sam Schweisky still as the program's, quote, proudest moment.
I think there are more proud moments to come with this freshman class being so strong.
Faye with the first touch. Middle set goes to Gassman. Dug up by Obo. Outside set, this is Ratter. And Kendall Ratter did some good things last night, certainly, in that match for Princeton. Had 13 kills, hit above 300, and he found the floor there.
Coach Schweisky held him out of the first set, brought him in for sets 2, 3, 4, and 5, and he lit it up. Let me tell you, one of the things he does well is he's got the big arm.
Speaking of big arms, Pat Gassman, he's swinging a big stick.
He loves being back in the lineup. Had to sit out last year with that broken leg of his. Now he's having a lot of fun in the middle getting those sets from Franciskovic.
Here's the serve from Franciskovic. First touch by Corey Short. Back row set, that's Greg Luck. Had to hang in the air a little bit longer for that one, the 6'5 freshman from South Pasadena, California.
Cousin of Andrew Luck. Also the cousin of Andrew Luck's sister, obviously. Everybody thought he was going to Stanford, and at the last minute on signing day, Greg Luck calls Coach Schweisky and says, you know what? I'm going to come to Princeton.
Austin Matautia, you saw some of the hops there. Great dig, though, by Corey Short. Backside, it's Matautia. Second time, missed the court wide, and it's a point for Princeton. Austin Matautia, 6'3" freshman from Eva Beach out of Moanalua High School, was the 4th-ranked recruit in the nation coming out of high school, according to Volleyball magazine. He's raw, but boy, does he have some incredible athleticism.
Look who recruited him: SC, Penn State, Lewis, Loyola, UCLA, Irvine.
And you see it right there. He jumps off of a trampoline when he approaches the set.
He does. Very unusual. A lot of confidence shown by Jennings Franciscovich that time. He went to Austin 3 times in a row there. Very unusual. You'll see a repeat once, twice, but to go 3 times in a row, very unusual. He only had 1 blocker up, and he tooled him.
And here he is with the serve. He's passed by Short. Right side set, that's Ratter. And Ratter able to ping the Terraflex for a Princeton point.
But Ratter's got a cannon of an arm. He's got their highest miles per hour on the serve. Hits the ball the hardest at the net. He's a good one. Last night, Ratter went for 13 kills. He had 357, 3 aces.
Did not start in that match last night, but he's in the starting rotation here in this night 2 match of the Outrigger Invitational. Kupono Faye against a triple block. Got the touch, and it's a point for Hawaii. They're up a handful. And we have a timeout on the floor. Set 1 underway here. Hawaii with the advantage.
Rainbow Warrior Volleyball on OCSports is sponsored by Straub and Hawaii Honda Dealers.
And welcome back to the Stan Sheriff Center. There's a look at Carol and Carrie, the mother and sister of our esteemed colleague here at OCSports, Candice Fujishima. Little known fact, Carol is a drag racing champion on the island of Maui.
And I heard she challenged you, and you wouldn't take her up on it.
Oh, heck no.
That's what I heard.
No, I can't go that fast. I can't keep up with Carol. There's no way.
Interesting stat after this halfway point in the first set. Hawaii with no blocks at all, and Princeton with yet to get a kill out of their middles.
Hawaii up 4. Here's Faye going deep corner. Was there a touch? No touch. And look at the Tigers kind of slowly working their way back into this opening stanza, down just 3 now.
They're a scrappy bunch. See if there's a touch there. Nope, no touch. Went over elbow.
And George Human to serve. And it's an ace. Well-timed ace for the 6'11" Frosh from St. Louis, Missouri. He is a hair under 7 feet tall, literally and figuratively, maybe the biggest recruit ever pulled into this Princeton men's volleyball program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For a 6'11" guy, serve like he does, pretty amazing.
And here's Stein von Tilburg trying to restore some order from the Hawaii standpoint. Prior to that, it was an 8-3 Princeton run to get back into things, but it's now 16 serving 13.
That last time out, Hawaii hitting 692 and siding out at 80%. They've dropped a little now. They're hitting 600, but some pretty lofty percentages for Hawaii's offense right now.
Served by Stein, middle set, that's Obo. Stein got it up, Mole touches it over, and gets it down!
They finally get a great swing out of their middles. Obo, he hammers it, and Hawaii digs it up. I think it was Van Tilburg actually that dug that one up.
And just another example of the development and progress of Stein von Tilburg. And you mentioned the competition that went on at that opposite side throughout all of fall camp, throughout the run-up to this season. Rado Parapunov, who is probably not going to play tonight, tweaked his knee in the opener last night. A 6'9" lefty freshman from Bulgaria. But Charlie Wade said it was a dead heat for a while there.
Absolutely. I think it's made Stein better.
Kind of lit a fire a little bit, right? Right side, that's Dixon. And Dixon able to once again get it past that Hawaii proposed block. But that's what they say sometimes, right, in sports, especially battles for positions. Competition can raise the level, and you have suggested and theorized that maybe that's what we're seeing come to fruition here with Stein von Tilburg.
Yeah, you know, I watched warm-up tonight, and it looked like I was watching two MPSF teams playing against each other. Hawaii's first and second groups are that strong.
Out serve. Gives it to Hawaii. 18 serving 14 coming up, and another senior. 6'5" outside hitter Kapono Fei, another Punahou product, back behind the line to serve. Started 27 of 28 matches last year, was third on the team, averaging 2.6 kills per set. Down the line it goes. Set goes outside. This is Luck. Dug up back over the net by von Tilburg. He's digging lips here in the opening set. Luck again. Blocked and root by Hendrik Moll.
Hawaii picks up their first block of the night. And that was a good one. The block well formed. And Moll made the most of it.
And the Tigers signal for another timeout. Hawaii up a handful, 19-14. Another pickup by Stein von Tilburg. And then Hendrik Moll had this one eclipsed.
You know, von Tilburg, I watched him in warm-up. I noticed that he was playing much better defense. He got a couple balls on dives. I didn't see him do that last year as much. He just seems much more friendly with the floor this year and digging an awful lot of balls and taking as much pride in a good dig as he does in one of his attacks.
And the reason why Charlie Wade isn't so concerned about the ratio of upperclassmen to underclassmen, right? Just 4 seniors, at least as it currently stands, pending, as you see some of the brotherly love going on the Hawaii bench, but pending, of course, the ultimate decision on what standing Tui Leta will have. But when you look at the 4 seniors and then the 18 underclassmen, 10 freshmen, 8 sophomores, it's not as though they are completely inexperienced, and von Tilburg epitomizes that.
Yeah, no question. Of course, von Tilburg's got all that international experience, you know, playing overseas with his home country of the Netherlands. But now he's just loving his time in Hawaii, to be sure.
Let's take a look at tonight's Jack Fact while we have a break in the action. A growing sport, and we mean this in a literal sense. UH's men's volleyball team, the average height, check it out, 6 feet, 4.6 inches. 15 of 22 players are 6'5" or above. How about compared to the UH men's basketball team? Their average height, 6 feet, 4.3 inches. 7 of 15 players are 6'5" or above. Now, I don't know if Brock Steptoe slides the average down a little bit for the men's basketball program, but it is indicative of just how physically imposing this sport on the men's side has become. You're taking a look there at Rado Parapunov, that fantastic opposite side hitter. But, I mean, they're just getting huge. Look, he's 6'9".
6'9", just a freshman. And he reminds me a lot of Yuval Kotz. He's worth coming down to watch at this arena.
A 6'9" Yuval Kotz? That's scary. And that one put down on the Hawaii side. That's going to be a net violation, though, called against Shane Gooding, who is starting in place of the senior Jonah May. He sprained an ankle in last night's opener, but easy pickings on the call there for the high official, Dan Hironaka.
Gooding made a mistake there, but he did make a mistake on his ACT test.
No.
Perfect 36.
How about that? It's Princeton. Luck down the line, misses long, no touch, point Hawaii, and they've turned the corner here. It's 21, serving 14.
And Princeton out of timeouts. And they've got some self-imposed errors going on right now.
And Princeton hitting 125 in this first set. Hawaii at 625. Sails long from Kapono Fei. Tried to rear back and deliver a heater on that occasion.
I kind of miss Charlie Wade's speed, the gun that measures the speed of the serves, his radar gun, but it's not up quite yet. But I will guess for you. That was over 60 right there, what Kapono Fei just did.
I like that. Let's just do the speculation speed from Chris McLaughlin. It's another out serve. They go tit for tat there. Now, you saw in that cutaway of Charlie Wade, by the way, there's a little less of Charlie here this season. He tells me he's lost over 50 pounds. And I said, well, what are you doing? You must be, what, gluten-free? You're doing this diet thing. He said, no, my advice for anybody that wants to lose weight, go to the Humane Society, adopt a puppy. He adopted a Greyhound Whippet mix named Ali'i last year, and he has to run the thing like 3 times a day, and he says it's whipped him into shape. Here's Matautia off the scramble play. And it's another point for Hawaii. Good effort by Kupono-Fei to keep that one going.
Great back bump set by Kupono-Fei. Here's the play right here. Look at that back bump set, blind, and he puts it right in the money where Matautia can put all the heat on it.
2 kills for Matautia. Von Tilburg leading everybody with 6 kills. Joe Worsley, by the way, on the floor serving for Hawaii. So actually 2 setters in this rotation for Hawaii. Fei is blocked, but he keeps it alive. Gassman, the back set to Matautia. Are you kidding me?
The middle blockers love the back set. That's their favorite play. Great cover by Kupono-Fei. Back set by Gassman. He poses for a second, and then he gives it a strong arm celebration.
6'10" freshman from Clovis, California, and Hawaii now sitting on Aloha ball in the first set. Here it comes from Worsley. No blockers up there on that swing by Dixon. Dug up by Fei. Here's Matautia for the finish. And Hawaii wins set 1 by double digits, finishing on a 4-0 scoring run. 25-15, the final arithmetic in set number 1. They'll swap sides. The second night of the 23rd Outrigger Resorts Invitational off to a wonderful start for the Rainbow Warriors.
Rainbow Warrior Volleyball on OCSports is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii, Kaiser Permanente, and Island Air.
Well, Stein Von Tilburg, perfect so far. 6 kills on 6 swings, Chris, and he brought the full array to the house in set number 1.
And not only that, but he also played some great defense. 3 key digs to keep the ball alive, allowed Hawaii to score points off those 3 digs. Also bringing some heat on his serve. Picked up 1 ace. Austin Matautia, the Honolulu graduate, is looking so sharp all fall long. Looking sharp again tonight. Really getting to really sense his whole game in this match. Last night against Erskine, really only played 1 set, I believe. But now, tonight, 4 kills, 1 error, hitting 500. And they're trying to pick on him. He's got 5 of the 11 serves. But he's been pretty much perfect all along.
Series record sponsored by Aston Hotels and Resorts. First ever meeting between these 2 programs. Yeah, Austin Matautia, just 1 kill on 2 swings last night, but he did have 4 service aces against Erskine. Started the match as well, and here he is now starting set 2 as well. 4 kills on 6 swings. There's a special UH Club for Keiki. Stop by Papa John's Pizza to join the UH Kids Club. Purchase a large pizza, and children receive an official club t-shirt and a host of other benefits. Join the UH Kids Club today. So Hawaii hitting 650 in set 1 compared to 111 for Princeton. And how about the digs comparison, Chris? 12
Huge.
digs for the Rainbow Warriors.
12-2. That's a crazy number.
The Tigers with just those 2 digs.
Notice that Hawaii's going with the same lineup. Last night, Charlie Wade went with 3 different lineups in the 3 different sets. Tonight, no fooling around. He respects this Princeton team.
And it's Von Tilburg getting the first set of the second stanza. Dixon, the swing from the Princeton side, sends it long. No touch up front for Hawaii. And the Rainbow Warriors strike first and second. Hawaii taking set 1, 25-15. Hawaii preseason pick to finish 6th in the MPSF. BYU the favorite, and of course, it will be stated all season long, this is the final year for Hawaii in the MPSF. Von Tilburg's doing a little bit of everything. There he is, getting in the roofing category. Yes, the apropos towel is raised. Stein doing it from all aspects.
I think he would love to cement down that opposite position and be the starter all year long and not be any more battles with Punov.
Franciscovich sends it into the net, but final year for Hawaii in the MPSF. They will be joining an allotment of teams to basically start up the Big West Conference in men's volleyball.
I think San Diego will join them to make the 6th team.
And Charlie Wade loves the idea. He feels like that will help these tournaments. He'll be able to once again schedule the more traditional MPSF powers as opposed to playing them on top of the scheduled regular season meetings. That's sort of why in this particular tournament you haven't seen as many MPSF teams as of late. And so he thinks it's going to help Hawaii's non-conference slate, which in turn can help their RPI. And he thinks that they'll be in position to challenge for Big West championships on an annual basis as Austin Matautia whips out, get this, his 5th ace of the season already.
That's crazy. Just a freshman.
He's got a high ceiling and a high velocity serve, as you saw there, but that one just missing the end line. So 2 serving 4 coming up. And it will be Junior Obo back to serve. 6'7" junior from Old Bridge, New Jersey. Missed all of last season for personal reasons, but he was an absolute stud for this team in 2015. A first-team All-EIVA selection. Was 10th in the NCAA in hitting percentage that year. And Hawaii winning a scramble joust. And George Human showing that maybe he is human. Kind of whiffed on that one and fell to the floor.
I was waiting until something human came out of your mouth talking about Mr. Human. If I was next to Human, I'd let him have all those close plays to the net. He's 6'10", he doesn't have to jump. 6'11".
Yeah, shade under 7 feet. That's incredible. Here he is in the middle, getting the set. Dug up by Franciscovic. Fay the swing, through the block and down. Hawaii playing stellar defense here on night 2 of the Outrigger Invitation.
Give all the credit to Matautia that time for keeping the ball alive. He's showing he can play some defense.
So another timeout taken by Sam Schweisky and the Princeton Tigers. All good for Hawaii so far. Welcome back. Let's check out the First Hawaiian Bank Top 3 Outrigger Resorts Invitational Championships. UCLA leading the heap. They've got 9. Hawaii, the home team. This is the 23rd time, of course, they've participated in this event. They've won 7 of them, and then a tie for 3rd. You see BYU and Penn State. So UCLA and Hawaii way out in front in that particular list.
I believe BYU will be coming back next year, so that should make for a solid field.
6 serving 2 out of the timeout. This is set number 2, and the set was a little tight to the net right there. Kupono Fay making them pay, easily placing it down on the floor.
Wow, what a move by Kupono Fay. Goes out, does a swing block, and pushes the ball back into the court. The attacker was trying to tool his left hand. Didn't work. Kupono would have none of it.
Nice little run at the service line here for Pat Gassman. That set goes right side. This is Dixon off the block and down.
Gassman's gone on record saying that, you know what, I'm not going to miss many serves this year because I love to play defense. So you won't see me hitting a whole lot of balls out because I want to dig a ball or 2.
He's a character.
He is. He's got a great personality, good sense of humor.
You mentioned sat out last season, suffered a broken leg leading up to the year. The 2015 graduate of Buchanan High School in Clovis, California. He played volleyball and football, so it would have been interesting to see big 6'10" Gassman on the gridiron as Hendrik Mole takes care of the overpass in the middle. Hendrik Mole, the 6'6" senior from Sand, Norway, started all 28 matches last year, led the team in blocks, and there he is reacting well at the twine.
Despite being nearly blind in one eye.
That's unbelievable.
Had that eye infection a couple years ago, and it's still... You know, he's still not 100% in that left eye at all.
Yeah, about 5 to 10% vision in that eye, according to Hendrik. And a good-looking kill by Parker Dixon, 6'6" freshman from Dallas, Texas. Sam Schweisky says he has a, quote, fantastic vertical. Reminds him of another former Princeton standout, All-American back in 2015, Cody Kessel.
Cody Kessel, he is a good one. You know what Parker Dixon's major is? Let's see if you could take this major. Ready? Operations, research, and financial engineering. Could you pass it?
That was coincidentally enough.
Could you pronounce it?
That was coincidentally enough my minor.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Here's Fay on the outside, the touch shot, sniffed out by Ratter. Back row set goes to Luck. One-handed dig by Matautia. Nicely done. Fay the knuckler. And Princeton now with a chance. They go to Luck in the back row, and he almost fell, toppled over Parker Dixon. Actually did fall to the floor, and then pumped it long. That was a dangerous moment there for Princeton. A couple of freshmen.
They can ill afford to lose another player after losing Jonah May, their setter, last night in set number 4 against Ball State. He's on the bench with a sprained ankle.
We're seeing a little bit of sloppiness on the Princeton side of the net, and certainly not characteristic for a Sam Schweisky coached team. He has spent years with the U.S. Volleyball program, head coach of the U.S. Boys Youth National Team. But he's got a lot of youngins on this roster, and so they got to get acclimated. The triple block was up on Ratter, kept alive by the Tigers. And Tuileta keeps it alive for Hawaii. Here's Stein, cross-court angle missed wide, and that is his first hitting error of this match.
I'm sure Sam Schweisky's not happy the way his team sided out the first set. Only 43%. Really need to be at 67 to 72% to win any match at the Division I level. And this set, I think they're siding out right now at about 40%. Hawaii, meantime, up until that play right there, was siding out at 100%.
Matautia, the service reception there. Stein dug up by Human in the back row. And we got a mishit by Parker Dixon trying to take on the setting responsibilities. And a point for the Rainbow Warriors. Another self-inflicted wound there for the Tigers.
A little ambitious by Parker Dixon. He was running, had to turn and twist, and he would have been better off just bumping the ball up there.
Here it comes from Mole. Diving pass by Short. Outside, it's Ratter. Blocked and roofed. Gassman next to Franciscovich.
Gassman is 6'10". He's a big boy. You notice that Franciscovich's arms were up there right with Gassman. Franciscovich, I think, with the highest vertical on the team. Touches right around 12 feet.
Another blazing serve by Mole. Cross-court bump set goes to Ratter. Caught it fat. The save by Fay. So here it comes to Matautia. Was there a touch? Yes, there was. And it's a point for the Rainbow Warriors. They're up a 7 spot here in set 2.
Princeton already used up one of their timeouts early, trying to slow down this Rainbow machine. These guys are tired of playing against each other. They just love seeing anybody else except each other.
They were raring to go. That's what just about every member of this team said after last night's match. Good scramble defensively again by Hawaii. Free chance here for the Tigers. Outside it goes to Ratter. And he hits it long.
He was almost flawless last night, struggling a little bit against this larger block that Hawaii has compared to Ball State block.
Yeah, Ratter, in fact, flatlining it. 2 kills on 7 swings, 2 errors. Obo fields that short serve. Joust at the net is won by the 6'10 guy. Gotta like the math in his favor, challenging 6'4 Shane Gooding.
What position would you play Gassman at in football? Tight end, maybe?
Field goal blocker.
There you go.
Ratter going cross court. And they're going to say that he caught a piece of that block. It did sail wide, but a point for Princeton, a much needed point for the Tigers after a 4-0 Rainbow Warrior run. Well, here's Shane Gooding to serve. The float serve goes deep. Stein and Ratter did it solo style on the denial of Stein von Tilburg.
Ratter did a pretty good job of that last night against Ball State. Had a couple of solos on that left side. Only 6'4", but he gets it out there pretty quickly. Gets his hands over the net and picks up a block there. First block of the night.
We're talking about how big, literally, this sport is getting. Ratter's listed at 6'4", but he looks diminutive out there along that front line.
He really does.
As Austin Matautia does it again, he has 6 kills, even with Stein von Tilburg. Timeout on the floor. Time to take a look at the Fujitsu air conditioning cool play of the match, and we're going to call this one early because it doesn't get much cooler than this save by Tuileta, Chris.
Well, there's Tui in the white jersey. He's doing his best Colby Kanatake impression by giving up his body, going into the first row, keeping the ball alive. popping it up. There, the fans are loving it. They're clapping already. Play's not even over. But Hawaii did go on to win that point as Stein Van Tilburg, I think, gets the kill right there. Thanks to Tuileta's great hustle.
Tuileta
that was a cool play.
That was an incredibly cool play. That was a cool one, too. Austin Mataltia next to Gassman, denying access to Kendall Ratter.
One of the things about Ratter, he hits the ball so hard. If he hits it into the block flush, it's going to come back faster than it went over.
So 16 serving 7. Hawaii pouring it on here on Princeton. Back row set, that's Luck, dug up by Fay. Franciscovich checks the distance, makes the second touch, and Fay out of the back row plugs it through.
Fay makes the great dig, and then he finishes with the attack out of the back row, that pipe set, and does it against 3 blockers.
That's his third
Makes it look
kill.
easy.
3 kills for Fay, hitting .222. Middle set, Junior Obo is blocked and roofed.
Too much Patrick Gassman up there. Gassman at 6'10" really doesn't even have to jump. He just tiptoe blocks up there up front.
18 serving 7. The run continues for the Rainbow Warriors. Outside, and Hawaii almost did it again. Parker Dixon, though, able to go off the Stein Van Tilburg proposed block and out.
And Stein was celebrating as if he had stuffed it straight down. I think he missed the line. We'll take a look and see. There's the celebration, but he does not get the call.
Van Tilburg, we saw it at times last year, too. He can let the emotion flow after he makes plays of that nature as the serve goes long. Hawaii getting the point back. Mataltia to serve. He's selected to the U.S. Junior National Team with current teammate Joe Worsley during the summer. Won the U21 Continental title in Canada. And there's Gassman making his presence felt yet again, Chris, forcing a Princeton timeout. Hawaii up a dozen here in the second stanza.
It just makes such a big difference on a good serve. The ball's overpassed by just a little bit. You've got a guy up there that's 6'10". You know, it's likely he can just tiptoe up, tap it down, and not get involved in the cable or going under the net. If he's got good body control, he'll just tap it down and make an easy play.
How about the numbers for Gassman? 4 kills on 5 swings, no errors, hitting 800. 4 blocks. I mean, that's a presence there in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, and also an assist.
That's right. The back set to the outside. Right. Who could forget that?
Let's check in with Ryan. Ryan, what's up?
Hey, Kanoa. Well, the Princeton coaching staff trying to get their team to simply stay in the play. They're quoting and saying, Hawaii's making some unbelievable plays that they've never really seen before. And the Princeton team just can't get caught up in it. He's like, even if you have to fake smile your way through it, because this Hawaii team is good. We just have to worry about the next play. Their mantra going into this game was just focusing on the next play, and they're just trying to overcome the great plays that Hawaii is making. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Yeah, what would you add to that, Chris?
Yeah, speaking of great plays, well, I think it all, you look at the digging statistics, it's 18-8 right now. So Hawaii's got 10 more chances they've had to give their hitters a chance to swing than Princeton, and that can add up in a hurry to being depressing. It can add up to points for Hawaii and not for Princeton, and it can really work on a team's mindset. That's why I think Coach Schweisky, who I know works a lot with the sports psychology with his players, he's trying to get them to forget about the last spectacular play that Larry Tuileta made and get more into what's the next play they're going to make.
Tui with 4 digs, 7 digs for Kupono Fay, who over the course of his career, now a senior, has really developed into a fantastic defensive player. Outside, here's Luck. No luck getting it by Van Tilburg there. And another roof and point for Hawaii. And look at this discrepancy on the scoreboard in set 2.
Right, so what's happening, Kanoa, is they're getting beat at the net by that blocks like Van Tilburg, or if it gets past the block, the back row of Hawaii's come up with dig after dig, 18-8.
How fast was that one on the gun?
That was about a 62.
Middle set. Gassman got the touch. Another point for Hawaii, and they are up 14 after another 4-0 run.
Gassman really seems to see the opposing block well. If they take his cross-court away, he hits away. He hits the wrist-away shot.
He's got 5 kills. Mataltia tickles the tape. Right side, this is Dixon. And he blasts it off the block and out. So if you're head coach Sam Schweisky and your team is down by a huge margin here in set 2, what are you looking for? I mean, everyone talks about that proposed spark, but what else are you trying to see in your team this early in the season in a match like this?
Well, with his team being so young, having those 4 freshmen on the floor really makes such a huge difference. Their eyes are big, the biggest arena they've ever played in, the most fans they've ever played in front of. I just tell them to smile, relax, calm down, play like they do in practice every day, and just play 1 point at a time. Don't get caught up in the last point, or I have to make the next point. Be a hero.
That was a smash, by the way, by Von Tilburg. Here's Human. Dug up by Fay. Second touch, Gassman working that back line, but miscommunication between Fay and Franciscovich, and that's an unlikely scenario. Those are 2 seniors that were indecisive.
You don't expect that from the 2 seniors like that. I got it, you take it. Husband-wife argument, whatever you want to call it.
The honeymoon is over.
Yeah.
Here it comes from Dixon. And the service errors have plagued Princeton, to say the least, and it seems to follow any potential moment that could provide a spark for this Tigers team throughout the first 2 sets. They have followed it up with an out serve, and it is aloha ball for Hawaii in the second. Von Tilburg with the serve. Here's Luck from off the net, off the triple block and down, and the Tigers trying to cling on to something hopeful here in the second set.
Set point, Green Warriors.
High toss from Greg Luck. Down the line, pass by Fay on the money. Set left side to Hendrik Mole, and he tried to pull the string, missed the court wide. But Mole getting the set on the outside pin in that sequence.
A bit unusual there that Mole would get a set on the antenna. He's a middle attacker. Normally he'd run behind the center there, get a middle attack. Instead, he can't hit from the outside. He played opposite his first year.
Hawaii looking to finish it. Here's Fay. And that's a natural spot for him, hitting from that outside antenna, and he smashes it to the floor. And Hawaii wins running away in set number 2. 25-15 in the first, 25-12 in the second. The Rainbow Warriors will get an opportunity to crack open that broom closet. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the McDonald's match statistics. I would say they're fairly one-sided.
As one-sided as the 2 set scores are. Hawaii hitting 500, huge number. If they hit like 290, it's a pretty good night in the MPSF. 500 is huge, and they're holding the Tigers to 16 kills and 16 errors. That's flatlining 0-0-0. Blocks also lopsided 7-0. Digs 18-8. That's lopsided. I love the way that Lisa and Ryan talked about the fact that this particular team might have as their trademark defense. So they're playing a lot of good defense right now.
Yeah, defense in the form of digs, in the form of service receiving, and certainly in the form of blocking up front.
Absolutely, and that hasn't always been the case in the past, but the great teams will find a way to be good defenders. Anybody can swing hard and hit the ball. Not many teams can defend well.
So Charlie Wade now with the luxury of perhaps putting in some new rotational players here for this third set. We'll see who he goes with, but we could see some changes for sure, as we saw throughout the match last night against Erskine College.
Yeah, especially Mamani Namahoe, I think, will be playing at the libero spot, or La Rochelle. Well, yeah, it looks like Namahoe's going to play. And there we see, oh, there's Dave, Shoji, and Mary. Oh, sharing an ice cream. Isn't that?
I mean, after how many years of marriage?
It's not even Valentine's Day, and they're sharing the ice cream. How about that?
They're still sharing the Dippin' Dots. Yeah. Dave Shoji, of course, diagnosed with prostate cancer a couple of months ago, and so he's going through the treatment process there. But
Yeah, I've been spending some time with him, and his spirits are up. He's optimistic. I think it's a 6 to 8 week process. He's gotten lots of prayers sent his way, cards, gifts, you know, you name it. The governor sending out a state prayer, I think. So I know he feels the love, to say the least.
I was going to say, it hasn't kept him out of the water, still stand-up paddling, still golfing.
Yep.
So he is taking this thing head on. And if there's anybody that can take it head on and come out looking like and smelling like roses, it would be the legendary Coach Dave Shoden.
He's a competitor. New setter this set. Ian Worsley, it looks like. And it looks like Ian McKellar is going to get the chance to play. And, oh, look, we got Dalton Solberg in the middle. So half the lineup switched.
Ian McKellar, who was one of the primary middles last year. In fact, started 17 to 24 matches in the middle position before moving back to his natural opposite spot towards the conclusion of the year, and he will be in the opposite position here in set number 3. Hawaii winning set 1 25-15. 25-12 was the arithmetic in the second, and Joe Worsley starts things off with an ace. Now, Worsley, a 6-foot sophomore from Moraga, California, he brings an entirely different kind of skill set to the setter position from Jennings Franciscovich.
He really does. He takes a lot more chances. He's got the slower jump serve, but he places it in different spots, and it comes down very quickly, often on the back line.
There's another dig by Stein on the oboe swing. Outside set, here's Luck, blocked. Short able to pop it up. Luck a second time, blocked again. And this time he's roofed. Ian McKellar and Solberg had that right side antenna locked down.
McKellar at 6'7", and Solberg at 6'6", put up a pretty formidable block on that side. McKellar, I'm sure his mom, Carol, is watching right now. And his dad, John, watching from London, England.
Here's oboe, whiffed on it. Junior oboe perhaps showing a little bit of the rust here in the early portion of the season. We mentioned sat out all of last year for personal reasons. Had 3 kills on 15 swings in the 5-set loss to Ball State last night. And here, no kills on 9 attempts and 2 errors, hitting negative .222.
Oboe played with Polo Fay, played with Jennings, played with Mamani on that junior national team.
Another hitting error for the Tigers, and Hawaii off and running here in the third. 4 serving 0, and it has been Joe Worsley at the service line as you take another look at Sam Schweisky. Now, we were talking with him prior to the match, Chris, and you said, hey, look, Sam Schweisky is the head coach and just about every other coach on the staff. I mean, it's him and only him, basically.
Exactly.
And he's had to act accordingly, if you will, as you see Oboe finally getting his first kill of the match.
He's delegated a lot of duties. He calls them the czars. There's the food czar. There's the medical czar. There's, you know, he's got all kinds of there's a volunteer right there. Steve Carlott is a volunteer, but he only comes about once a month. The rest of the time, the players have got to do all those other duties. And do you want to know what junior oboe's responsibility is?
Yeah, what's it?
They have a rule called no food left behind. He's the closer.
Oh, he's the closer.
He's the closer. He goes around, eats up all the extra food, make sure no food is left behind.
No, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I guess it was part of his international experience as well, right? Where, you know, the coaching staff is somewhat limited in number as Kupono Fay drops a bomb from the opposite side. But the delegation of responsibility to players. So as you take another look at Fay's theatrics, Junior Oboe is also the social media czar. You mentioned that they have a player who basically tapes all the ankles. That's Trey Sickler. He's the quote-unquote team doctor. And hey, I guess if there's a player with the perfect name to be team doctor, it's Trey Sickler.
That's right. Perfect.
Here's Fay against a triple block. Kupono Fay. Oh, he is bringing the heat here in this third stanza. It's been fun to watch Kupono Fay throughout his Hawaii career. Of course, coming from an incredible athletic lineage as it pertains to the University of Hawaii. His mom, Shelly, played basketball for the Wahine program. That one goes into the net. Grandfather, Harry Clown Kahuanui, All-American football player in this University of Hawaii program, part of the lore of OCSports. It's been great to see Kupono-Fei carrying on the torch.
And Sister Cal playing volleyball at Winthrop, back east in, I think, North Carolina.
Two hands the reception there. Worsley sets up Stein on the outside.
We thought he was good on the right. How about his activity on the left? He's a bomber. He hits it hard.
And that's going to be interesting to watch this year when Rado Marapunov comes back into the mix. Of course, sitting out tonight with the tweaked knee. Depending on how he does on the right side, it at least opens the option for Charlie Wade to move Stein to the outside spot, which is probably his more comfortable spot, at least based on his past with the game. Case in point right there.
Was he listening to you there and showing off? Great set from Worsley as well. A lot of line open there.
9 kills for Stein. Timeout, Princeton. Welcome back to the Stan Sheriff Center. See the crowd here on a Friday night. Second match of the season, night 2 of the 23rd annual Outrigger Resorts Invitational, Hawaii. Hoping to close the deal here in this third set. They took the first 25-15, the second one 25-12, and they're up 8-3 here with several new players in the rotation here for the third set. 8-3, and here's one of them, Dalton Solbrig, 6'6" sophomore from Illinois, with the serve, and the roof is up and working. Pat Gassman again giving him the gas face there in the middle of the net.
6'8" and 6'10", that's a wall. Tough to get around that one.
9 serving 3. Solbrig tried to take something off, took a little too much off. So still obviously a ways to go here in the third set, but what are your impressions here of this Hawaii team? This is a Princeton team that, yes, had its struggles last year, has some youth in the form of the 4 freshmen. As Gassman goes off the block and down, he's having a heck of an efficient match. But this is a Princeton team that comes in with some respect, certainly from Charlie Wade. So what do you make of this Hawaii team?
Well, they're everything I expected them to be and more. You know, they're exciting, they're big, they're fun to watch. They're flying around on defense. Pretty good jump serving. You have more guys that serve over 60 miles an hour this year than last year, for sure.
Block got a touch there, allowed the dig to be made by Namahoe. And there he is again, keeping it alive, laying out. McKellar into the net, though. And it's a point for Princeton. Mamane Namahoe out of Waikea High School. Check it out, off the block.
That's Ryan Suchi's old club team over there, Pilipa'a. Played by Namahoe, getting a good chance tonight, and assuming he'll also get a good chance tomorrow night because Tuileta will not be in the house.
Wow.
Touch them all.
Yeah. Take your time around the base path. Sent a tad bit long by Mike First, 6'6" junior from Arlington Heights, Illinois, making his first appearance.
He's from Illinois. I asked him the other day, so are you a Cub fan? He says, the most obnoxious one you can find. I said, well, how obnoxious are you? He says, well, I've got a W in my dorm room, a W at home, and I've got a Cubs cap in my backpack right now. Any other questions?
Well, no questioning the effort of Joe Worsley. Smallest player on the floor currently at 6 feet, and maybe that's being generous, getting up there and getting the block. And that's what Joe Worsley has been defined by, is that bulldoggedness. There he is again.
Oh, nice pass by Namahoe. Put it up there nice and close for Worsley to do his thing. Ironically, he's the smaller of the 2 centers between him and Franciscovich, but Worsley will actually dump the ball more often, be more offensive than Jennings.
Largest lead.
I think Jennings can improve in that area and get a little bit, be a little more offensive. But right now, he's got such good players around him. He's probably making a good decision not to do that right now until the offense really needs him. Here you see Jennings, voted one of the 3 team captains, Henrik Moll and Kupono-Fei being the other 2.
Largest lead of this third set here for Hawaii. They're up 9. Overpass joust won by Kuponofe. Hawaii up 15-5, and they continue to dominate the Princeton Tigers. Timeout on the floor. Welcome back. Let's check out how it works, presented by Central Pacific Bank. Chris.
Well, let's take a look at Hawaii's new libero. Yeah, there we go. Here's the shot. That's deep block. Here's Mamani Namahoe from Waikea and Pilipa'a going for this diving save right there. Just throwing up his left hand, keeping the ball alive. And then Ian McKellar could not quite finish the play, but that's how it works when you train multiple liberos. There's even another libero from Waikea, Evan LaRochelle, who could also be in that libero spot. So for Charlie Wade to be training 3 of those liberos, he's, I think, accounting for anybody who gets in any kind of sickness, any kind of academic problems, any kind of injury. He's deep in every position.
Kuponofe now with 7 kills. The assist, though, on the Stein serve, forcing the overpass. Middle set, that's human. Diving layout save by Stein. Faye finishes the deal. This is amazing. I mean, this is a superb performance being put on by this Rainbow Warrior squad.
And there's 3 brand new players inserted into this lineup. You'd think there'd be more miscommunications or awkward plays. Instead, they're all playing as if they're first teamers.
Set was tight to the net. Princeton scrambling, and they have to free ball it over. Chance for Hawaii. Worsley outside to Faye. Oh, he was drifting off the net. The set was off the mark.
Worsley, the first one over, come over to Faye and say, oops, sorry about that. That one got away from me.
Now you're talking about the libero position. There's another big-time libero who is scheduled to come to Hawaii next year, and it's the younger brother of Joe Worsley, Gage, a UH commit for 2018. Quite simply one of the most highly touted recruits of that class, as Brett Rosenmeyer, number 3, a 6'6" sophomore from Virginia Beach, checks into the match for Hawaii. But it was a really interesting sort of off-season for Charlie Wade from the libero perspective, right? Because you lost Kobe Kanetake, who was one of the best in the country.
Absolutely.
And the question was who would step up, and certainly Mamani Namahoe was one of the candidates. You were able to at least entertain the idea of Evan LaRochelle, another Waikea High School product. But then into the scene burst what Charlie Wade described as the Tui factor.
Yeah, Larry, Tui Letta. Wow, what a player. What a leader, too. I mean, you know, he's played so much volleyball. He's won like 7 junior national championships. And he just knows the game so well that he sees the play before the play even happens. So he's able to help these other players who haven't played as much volleyball. He helps to guide them and bring them volleyball wisdom without being, you know, obnoxious.
And again, somewhat pending in terms of what his official academic standing will be, but right now he's a 21-year-old sophomore with a lot of experience and leadership qualities, with a background as a quarterback on the gridiron, and of course all the success in volleyball.
How about his left side hitting last night?
Yeah.
He goes 5 kills.
On 8 swings,
On 8 swings, hit 625. Had a couple of aces that were like 60-mile-an-hour heaters. Charlie Wade, that's the thing. That's the thing he misses most when he has to put Tui at libero because he can't get his serve. He's got one of the best serves on the team.
Rick Feeman with the serve for Princeton, making his first appearance. Here's Faye, solo block up, and he just clobbers it. Hawaii up a dozen. And here is the aforementioned, like right on cue, as if Charlie's plugged into the cast. Tui Letta into the match and back to serve.
Even though Tui's not going to be here tomorrow night, Charlie Wade, nice gesture to let him go back and show off his 60-mile-an-hour heater.
Maybe Charlie is listening. I mean, you are wearing the official coaching staff Aloha shirt tonight.
By accident.
I don't know if anybody noticed that, but there's the shirt on Charlie Wade. And if we get a shot at some point of Chris McLaughlin wearing the exact same Aloha shirt as Tui Letta sends it long. Yeah, Chris McLaughlin. So I believe that gives you challenge. That gives you challenge privileges,
Where's the
right?
panel? Let me use the panel. We'll challenge that last call.
Chris has the right to call timeouts at any time. Serve goes long, and that's been a theme for Princeton.
They struggled with that last night against Ball State. Way too many serves out. And even Sam Schweitzer said they should have gone late in the match as they were more tired. Going to the jump serve is not a smart thing to do. They should have had more jump floats.
Another mistimed set on the outside. Chance for Hawaii. Tui sets up McKellar. Call him Sir Ian McKellar.
There you go.
And the assist to Tuileta.
Mom and Dad would like to hear that back in England. Great set from Tuileta. High. Plenty of air under it so he can get up and attack that block. Great swing. What a great story he's been. Redshirting 1 year, then getting hurt the next year.
Well, that was a big-time swing there from Parker Dixon. We've seen flashes of it from this Princeton team. Certainly this highly touted freshman recruiting class, but it has just been too sporadic for them to really get anything rhythmic going against this Hawaii team.
Exactly. Hawaii's playing too much defense for this Princeton team, but you see flashes, as you say, flashes of brilliance on this Princeton team, and they will be a force in the EIVA.
Billy Andrew with the serve for the Tigers. Outside set, that's Rosie. And a great effort on the second touch by Greg Luck, but that's a kill for Brett Rosenmeyer. Appeared in 19 matches as a freshman last season.
You saw Billy Andrew, he's the, right there, he just dug that last ball. He's the hydration specialist on the team.
What did you say? You were actually talking to some of the players the other day, and what did he tell you?
Yeah, Billy also told me that before he leaves Princeton, he's hoping to grow a man bun. he's
got a ways to go.
It's a long ways to go. He's on the bench now, but he doesn't have much going.
Let's put it this way, he's starting from scratch, if that's his ultimate goal.
Exactly.
11 serving 23 here. The Princeton Tigers run into a buzzsaw here on night 2 of the Outrigger Resorts Invitational in the form of the Rainbow Warriors, and we got a foot foul on the serve, and so it is Aloha ball for the match, and they rise here at the Stan Sheriff Center. And what has been a dominant and impressive performance by this 7th-ranked Rainbow Warrior volleyball team. And it will be Brett Rosenmeyer to try to finish things from the service line. Backside set, into the net it goes. Point Hawaii, and the Rainbow Warriors just put it on the Princeton Tigers in 3. They go Ekahi, Elua, Aloha, 25-15, 12, and 11. Chris McLaughlin, the only thing you can say is, wow.
Impressive, to say the least, especially their defense tonight. Especially the defense. Defense along the net, great blocking. 11 blocks at the net, and the defense in the back row, 22 digs. That's playing some great defense.
Compare that to 8 digs for Princeton, and then the blocking numbers, 11.5 team blocks.
To 0 for Princeton.
We saw one solo block for Princeton, though, that came from Kendall Ratter. So
they ruled that it went into the net.
Oh, is that what the decision was?
Came down.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunate for that discrepancy for sure. Von Tilburg and Kupono Fei leading the way for Hawaii with 9 kills apiece, and you got to like the set distribution. They each got 16 attempts. Austin Matautia, 6 kills on 8 swings. He hit 625, and then Pat Gassman owning the middle. 6 kills, 7 swings, no errors, hit 857, and throw in a handful of blocks.
Impressive. This team is going to be a fresh team tomorrow night, I believe. You know, they've had 2 short matches over the first 2 nights. In the meantime, Ball State had that tough 5-setter the first night, 21-19 in the 5th against Princeton. They may be a little bit more tired. We'll see, but it should be a fun match tomorrow night against the Ball State team.
Scott Robbs has Charlie Wade.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Charlie Did you tell the team before the game that you had 9 o'clock dinner reservations tonight? That was pretty impressive.
No, we just wanted to be a little more efficient. You know, last night was a nice night. We got a lot of guys in, but we clearly thought we could play better. So a little better effort tonight, a little better execution, and, you know, just trying to make some progress.
8th season now, and this probably is the most depth you've had since you've been here.
Yeah, and really, I mean, we got a lot of good players. There's no question. And, you know, talking to Chris, and he's saying, you know, the talent and maybe at a historic level, like all time, just the overall depth, the number of guys that we have that have represented the United States at the highest level of international competition, and then the international guys that have represented their home country. So, yeah, 8 years into it, we like the progress we've made, and these guys just love competing and coming out and playing in front of these fans and representing the program, the university, and the state.
All right, tomorrow night you go up against Ball State, another level up maybe from this evening. What can we expect from the Cardinals?
Well, they certainly, I think it is an upgrade. They got caught a little flat-footed yesterday against Princeton, but quality team, well coached. You know, they got some nice arms. They got a big guy in the middle. It's been one of their best players, so we're going to have to step up.
Congratulations.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, guys, back over to you.
Well, maybe Charlie wanted to get home and walk his dog.
That's right.
Bank of Hawaii presents the players of the match. Parker Dixon had 9 kills to lead the way for the Tigers, hit .087. And Pat Gassman, we went through all of his numbers, putting on a show, owning the net in that middle position. And Chris, the scariest part about all this is all this domination coming tonight against Princeton, and that's without the services of Rado Parapunov, who did not play because he tweaked his knee last night. No structural damage from what we are told, but better safe than sorry, certainly at this stage of the season. We may see him tomorrow against 15th-ranked Ball State, but, I mean, this is a Hawaii team that wasn't yet full power.
Wait till you see him play. He's big time. And of course, Stein, Van Tilburg on the outside, he's stepping up his game, has already stepped it up, I should say. He's playing his best volleyball ever that I've seen him playing in the 2 years that he's been here. And I think Parapunov is one of the reasons. He's bringing competition every single day. And like I said before, when I go to practice and watch these guys play, I feel like I'm watching 2 MPSF teams going at each other. There's that much depth in this team. They're really fun to watch. I hope fans come out and support them.
They have set a bit of a standard here through the first 2 nights of the season. How do they maintain that standard? How do they make that the norm here going forward?
That's a good point. I think that each of them has sort of hold each other accountable every single day to make each day their masterpiece at practice and in the games like this, where they became more and more efficient. Obviously, they learned from last night, learned from mistakes last night, and they're just going to get better and better and better. I don't see them falling back too much. Too much pride.
Ball State, by the way, sweeping Erskine College earlier this evening, so it'll be a true championship match tomorrow in the 23rd annual Outrigger Resorts Invitational Hawaii. 6 sets played, 6 sets won. We won't have the services of that guy to talk about, though, tomorrow. Tui Tuileta's sister getting married. Don't the family members know you don't schedule a wedding during volleyball season?
He's doing a fire dance tomorrow night. How about that?
Well, we wish him the best. We'll be back on the air here, of course, tomorrow. Chris and I are pal, but don't forget about the post-game show. For Chris McLaughlin, I'm Kanoa Leahy. Till tomorrow night, everybody. Aloha.